Hello. Last sunset light. I'm gonna turn this on as well. I need to let steam out, and this the best way is to do it through my tablet. And I have all kinds of emotions that are attached to making videos. It doesn't get better, the more wrinkles one gets, the harder it gets. And the more one feels trolls, latching onto that and saying, why are you showing yourself when you're so old and ugly and you shouldn't even be making videos? Yes, I need to make videos more than ever, particularly when I'm old. My fear doesn't want to hear it, but it's the truth, because it's a counterbalance to Hollywood and to the dictation that people experience from the movie industry, from entertainment and all of this, where the greed is running. Greed doesn't care what the message is for the public if they cripple people like that. So I'm setting a counterbalance, and if I look just like them, then it would, I don't know if I could then even talk about this and bring the message across. So, if I went under the knife and I put a wig on or whatever, put uncomfortable, sexy clothes on and all of this that I don't find sexy. I mean, just to get people to turn the video on and then, or do clickbaits or whatever. That I don't believe in clickbaits. If I did clickbaits, my goodness, can you imagine how many people would then get really mad if they saw my video and the stuff they would say to me? Then I have enough ego energies already coming, swarming back and forth. The fighter jet mosquito energy swarm comes, and I say, go within yourselves, and swarm back, go for someone else. And it goes back and forth and back and forth. That's already enough of those that are constantly coming up, and I can sense them in my brain. I can sense what they're going to say and how they're going to judge. And I'm not a god. I'm a living being too, and I'm a living being who needs love too, just like everyone else, just like every ego person that sends out their ego energy. I need love too. Deep down, they're all a child. They need the love. Deep down, they're all a child, and they need non-sexual love. They need mother love. They need friendship love. They need hugs. Non-sexual. Okay, and we all need it. Sexuality just is a complicated thing that's being put on top of all of this, that distorts things. It really distorts things away from the truth and stuff. And the ego loves that, of course. Ego makes businesses, all kinds of things with that. Ego just loves that. Completely makes it his own thing. While the child underneath does not want to be raped or molested by their parents, or they don't want someone to just take an interest in them just because someone wants something from you, what we all need and what we all have in common is we need another living being to be interested in us, for who we are, not because of our money or our looks or this or that, for who we are, whether we're ugly or fit the social standard of prettiness or good looks. You need love, not according to fitting into society. Every single person needs love and touch and hugs, non-sexually and without an agenda. Just like, going up to someone and giving someone a hug. Just like that, without wanting anything, without having any kind of need towards that person whatsoever. No need at all. No sexual need, no financial need, no emotional, like a codependent type of need, no self-sadistic, masochistic type of need, no need for dominating anyone, no need for hurting anyone. Just like this, you go up to someone and you give someone a hug. Hey, I see you, like that lady Claudia, that invented figure that I created. It's not based on anyone I know or anything, anyone famous or anything. It's just a invented thing. It's an invented story. The lady Claudia, who likes salsa music, she's from Germany, and she has no curves. It's a stick figure body, and no one finds her very interesting. No one is really that much into her, and she's very alone, and no one is interested because she doesn't offer anything. She doesn't have money. She doesn't have a curvaceous body. She doesn't have big boobs. Her face is kind of unattractive, like small mouth and recessed jaw. Not strong, not wild, not sexual. And then no one looks at her, no one wants anything. And this is kind of like what I see in the world. See that in the world. I made 2 videos about this film that I developed in my head, and I uploaded this on my other channel. I thought about this while I was sitting in the van waiting for Paul yesterday. I see there's just no love in the world at all. Just no one gives a hoot about anyone unless they get something for themselves from this. Unless there's something some personal lust or some other agenda involved into it. Like whatever they can tickle out of it, out of any kind of being or existence, making toilet paper out of old growth redwood trees, totally bypassing the majestic existence of those beings. Yeah, raping women, using them as slaves in Islam, totally bypassing that other being with all the complexities and thoughts and equal reasoning, equal philosophical, equal intelligence, equal sentience, equally deserving of respect and habeas corpus. It's always like, what can they exploit out of everything? That's what's going on. The being that doesn't have anything to offer to the world is being regarded like trash. It's a world I don't want to be in. But I'm here now. I didn't choose to be here. What I see is very painful for me, what I see on the internet. Some things I've seen in person. It's too much for me. I'm too sensitive for that kind of world. It's too rough for me. So many times I just want to leave. I can't count it anymore, how many times I stood at that threshold. The exit door, I opened it twice. Got yanked back in. Exit's gonna happen at some point. It's gonna happen at some point. We are here now. Let's make the best out of it. And I'm telling this myself. This is not a patronizing type of emotion. I'm telling this to myself. We're here right now. It's harsh as fuck. So let's make the best out of it. Because what else do we have? What other choice do we have, really? What other choice do we have? I can hide, I can be a princess on the pea, and like in the fairy tale, I can hide myself from the world of humans. Or I can become a hermit somewhere. I can go into nature, with the little bit of nature that's left on this planet. That's not urbanized yet. I've seen people like this. I saw one guy completely retreated into nature with his tent. And I understand. I give him a flower. Because I understand you. It's easier, It breathes better. Better air, literally. Better energy. But the fact is still standing that the suffering is continuing outside there, outside of our margins. It's still continuing. Whether we distract ourselves or not, whether we think about something else or not, most people are quite good at distracting themselves away from that. I am not so good at it. It's quite on my mind all the time. I suffer with other living beings who suffer. I cannot separate myself from them. It's not possible for me. It's a harsh life like this, very harsh. A psychiatrist would say, here, take Zyprexa, so you don't have to suffer with the other living beings anymore. He sees it as a pathology. He never even once, not even once, looked at the pathology that's out there, the pathology that causes animals to suffer, the human pathology that causes animals and other people to suffer. Never even looked at it once. To him, no, to him that's not crazy. No, they don't need Zyprexa. No. Zyprexa and everything is good. I've been there. I've done that. And that to me is a road of no return. That road is behind me, and I am never circling back to that road. I learned my lesson. And I also learned that I'm not the one who's crazy. I learned that I'm one of the saner folks here on this planet. Just because I suffer from other people's insanity doesn't mean I'm insane. It means quite the opposite, actually. Just because people are getting very adapted to the insanity and learning to surf the waters of insanity by by pitching into the insanity. That doesn't mean they're sane now. There are books written on this. How to fit in to the insanity of life. They didn't word it like this, but that's basically what they're saying. That's basically what they're dealing with. How to fit in better. How to be one of the insane people. A motivational coach book. It's not for me, sorry. No. I prefer my luxury, I prefer my clay, my Play-Doh, I prefer my art, my modern art, I prefer my poetry, my philosophy of ethics and compassion. I prefer the trees on my property, I prefer the trees in the world, the ocean, the animals in the ocean and on land. To me, luxury is not that congruent with the idea of luxury, of the insanity in the world out there. So the suffering is still there. What do we do about it? Do we lean back? Do we hide? That's one way of doing it, hiding. But then I kind of bypassed the meaning of my life, so I can, if I hide, And if I, like a lot of people are doing, they hide and they figure out how to trick the system for them to have what they need, then they're they suddenly are the surf riders of that insanity as well. Then they are part of that problem. Me first is part of the problem. That is why the problem is happening in the first place. Me hiding the fuck with the rest of them is part of the problem. Me hiding, me getting my whatever, social security check, it's part of the problem. Sorry, you're part of the problem. You don't notice it, but you're part. The moment you do this, you're part of the problem. And when they say, yeah, but you should not give out your information to the world, and you're part of the problem. My mission of my life is the least I can do, that's the least I can do, is to open my mouth and speak out. That's the least I can do. I'm not going out to the street and saying, hey, I am standing here, go ahead and shoot me. I'm not doing that. But the least I can do is make a video and speak out against it. I'm not judging people who don't do it. I'm just saying that's to myself, for my own life. Okay. And I suffer so bad the moment I make a video about it and talk about it. I am doing an action. I am proactive in that moment. Because then maybe someone else will hear it, and then someone else will think about it, will research it as well, or will not look the other way anymore, will consider becoming a vegan, will stop next time. When they get really angry, stop in the right moment and say, oh man, I'm thinking about what that lady said. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I better not act it out on someone else, better not retaliate, better not lash out on an innocent being. So, yeah. So, my videos might be beneficial for someone. It might help other living beings. So, in that sense, I'm making these videos. Versus not making the videos, leaning back, hiding in my bed or whatever. Some depressed people do that. I've seen many of those in Germany. And I'm not judging. I'm giving you a flower. It's a beautiful, beautiful flower. A marzipan flower. I'm just saying this is how I do it. Instead of, I know how difficult it is. And I'm not in other people's heads. But I know one thing for sure is that I couldn't even give presentations. So I couldn't even show myself in the YouTube video in the beginning. Then I had to read from a script that I wrote down. And it looked extra awkward and ridiculous. It's all okay. It's part of that journey. It's part of the healing journey. If we don't do it, then we don't move forward. So we have to take these little increments from A to B first, then from B to C, and from C to D, and so on. Okay, we have to inch our way towards Z and beyond. Okay, there's no limit. The sky is the limit, so there's no limit. The sky is infinity. But we are at the beginning. So you can't be reaching for Z if you're at the beginning. Reach for B. With everything. With your wishes, with your exercises, with your meditation, with your mindfulness, with your conversations, with the steps you take to get out of your comfort zone. The comfort zone is our prison. Little steps towards mental liberation. And the most important part of all of this, and that's what I wanted to talk about in this video, the most important part is that whatever you do, you do not hurt another living being in that process. If another living being is standing in your way, you wait. You have time. There is no rush with anything, okay? Even if your job promotion depends on it. I said it before. You wait. You wait, or you make a big circle around a situation. You do whatever it takes to protect the other living beings that are in your vicinity. That is the bottom line. That is the essence of existence. That you don't hurt another living being. It's the most important thing. So, and then beyond that, there are many, many, many other things where people are unconsciously and out of ignorance are hurting other living beings. And that's why we need to become conscious, and that's why we need to research things so that we can avoid hurting other living beings. I think Papa Dog has to get out. Can you please go down and open the door?
Okay, all right.
I'm making a video right now. That would really, if you could do this, would be really awesome.
Okay.
Because I think he's down there by the door
going
right
down
now.
right now.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm gonna go and open the door.
Okay, I'm going down.
Because that's exactly what I'm talking about, you know. Like, the other living being is more important than this video. The other living being is more important than anything else. And I've developed a very, very acute sense of perception. The slightest sounds, the toenails clicking a little bit on the floor, I know. His breathing, I know when he's at the door. Sometimes he makes very little noises and he sits there by the door. Sometimes he doesn't even scratch the door. But I can feel it. I can sense it. And that's what a mother needs to do. A mother needs to feel and sense her child. A mother needs to feel and sense every single need her child has. Whether your child is adopted, like Dave, is an animal, or a human, or it's your biological child. They're all equally sentient. So if you're a mother, if you choose to be a mother of that living being, then you have to love that living being. And love means you feel every single need of that living being. So, and when you do that, then you make that other living being healthy and happy, live a long life, good life, and you prevent suffering. My mother could not do that for me, was not able to do that for me. She was too mentally ill and too insane, as in most people. Just not able to give. That causes a living being 100 years of suffering. Depends on the species, how long you live, but no duration of suffering is justified. Lot of cows and pigs, they only live for a year before they're slaughtered. But it is the most horrible way of existence anyone can imagine. Even if it's just a year, it is a horrific ordeal, a horrific state of existence, horrific suffering. And if we become aware and conscious, if we find out, if we look at the situation, if we don't look away, we see what's going on, if we read the right articles, books, and watch the right documentations, then we have knowledge about it, and then we know the situation, and then we can make better choices. We can make better buying choices and eating choices and living choices. You can live cruelty-free, you can live vegan, you can live green, okay? And the more you do this, and the more conscious you become, the more you will help all living beings. And it feels good. It feels very good to be able to help other living beings. Compassion meditation is the way. Why do you close the window?
This window up here is open.
No, I wanted that window open, that one.
It's getting cold now.
No, I wanted that window open though.
Yeah,
Can you open it again? Yeah, open that again. Thank you. Because I need air. I'm always gasping for air. Thank you. I don't have the heater on. I don't need the heater on. Is Papa Dog outside?
Yes, he is.
Okay. Okay, and this is what I really wanted to talk about. I have been watching a lot of Marina Abramovic documentations and interviews and presentations, and I deeply respect that woman, and she has a lot to give to the world. However, I don't agree with everything, and I don't agree with anyone 100%. And we shouldn't need to have to agree 100% with each other. It's okay. She has the right to do what she does. But there's one performance there's several performances, but particularly the one performance where she and her former partner, life partner, lover, where they do a performance where they run against each other. They're naked and they're running like this. against each other. And they bruised each other up real bad, and they did that several times in a museum. That's violence, okay? And I don't agree with violence, even if it's consensual. There's a lot of sadomaso going on in the world outside of the frame of art, you know, it's kinds of sadomaso going on. Some people may use that in the context that she and her former partner did, you know, where they are testing their limits, and it's sort of like a mind exercise or something. But I don't agree with that. I don't agree with sadomaso. I don't agree with any kind of violence, no matter what the idea is that stands behind it. I am completely against violence. I'm completely against violence of any sort, whether it is verbal abuse. I felt, for example, from Gary in Mentham, I felt extreme hatred and hostility from him towards me, and I don't know why, because I've always treated this person very well, always respected him, you know, even told him that his videos helped me. So I don't understand where the hostility comes from. That may be something completely different. That something that I that didn't even occur to me. Something that is in him, some kind of thing I must be reminding him of someone, or I don't know where it comes from. And I'm probably never gonna find out. But you know, I felt extreme hatred from that man, particularly the last time I went to his chat. I felt extreme hatred, like there was like he wanted to kill me. And I don't understand why. I don't understand at all. So that's violence, okay? That's energetic violence. Some of that is unconscious in people, so it's not a deliberate thing. In some people, it's not a deliberate thing. I don't know whether it was deliberate in Gary or not, but I sense the hatred. I don't deserve to be hated. I'm a real compassionate person. I'm not asking, I don't want anything from Gary. I don't want a romantic relationship. I had a crush on him in 2008. That was only for a while. It lasted for about, I don't know, maybe half a year or something. At the most, it was maybe a year, off and on. And then after that, it was gone. Not there anymore. Just always thought that he's an interesting person and that he has helped a lot of people with his videos. I don't deserve to be hated by him or anyone. And if anyone hates me, they should really do some real serious introspection and ask the question, what causes that? What makes you hate me? What is it in me that... No, it's not my haircut. No, there's plenty of people with bad haircuts. That goes deeper. That goes deeper than my ugliness and all of that. Or my dorkiness, or my... whatever, my awkwardness, or my puniness, or whatever. Or my age, or my... yeah, I look absolutely horrific to a lot of people. So, not everyone, probably. No. Some people are nice, they mean well, they want to appease me and say, no, you don't, you're not ugly. To most people, I am. Okay. To my dog, I'm not. So, but I don't deserve to be hated. I really don't. I'm a kind-hearted person. So if there's hate, there's something else going on. There's something else underneath that the person should find out what it is. It's not just against me. There's something in that. I'm just triggering something, and I'm not the only one triggering. So I'm not significant anyway. Okay. So, but sometimes we get triggered by someone. It could be someone very insignificant. It could be someone who is famous. It could be someone who has a lot to say or someone who doesn't say very much. People get triggered. Find out what it is, what causes that. Introspect, work on yourselves. That's my message to them. So, but my main message is art, modern art, should be completely free from suffering and pain. Modern art should be free from violence. Jackson Pollock. Some people might consider his art violent or explosive or chaotic or wild or something. That's the expression of his brain. That's an expression. It's not, I don't consider that violence. Him getting mad at people and throwing a table over, which he has done because he was an alcoholic and he had a lot of anger and rage in him. Yeah, throwing a table over is violence. There's certain levels, of course. That is violence. Throwing a cup, which I have done a few times. I've thrown a stick into a glass cabinet one time in LA. Yeah, it's violence. Okay, it's uncontrollable anger. It's violence. That means we need to really work on ourselves when that is going on. Suma Qinghai said, whatever you have done in your life that was wrong, you can say to yourself, you were in a bad state and you don't have to do that anymore. You don't do it anymore. And you know better. You go into meditation. You can cry it out. You can also safely hit the pillow in your room. You don't need to throw anything. You don't need to go onto anyone's throat. You don't need to hurt anyone. Whether it's retaliation for a physical act or a mental thing or something that the other person didn't even know he created, being triggered by someone. There are people who retaliate against someone because they look better than they do. I mean, yeah, this is happening in the world. Okay, so now we know better. We can go into meditation. We can hit the mattress. Don't hurt another living being. Whether it's in your daily life or in an art performance or in your family or someone bullied you, don't hurt another living being. If someone attacks you or your child or your You know, your child can be an animal or your, like I said before, biological child. It doesn't matter. They're all equally sentient. If someone attacks your loved ones, whoever they are, it could be anyone. If someone attacks your loved ones, and that, to me, that includes all beings, all animals. That includes a pig or a horse or a cow on a meadow, a dog, someone else's dog. And people say, it's none of your business. Yes, it is. Because I'm the mother of all beings. And you are too. But you have detached yourself mentally. Come back to it. All beings are everyone's business. Because we're in this here together. So if someone is hurting another living being, you have the right to protect that other living being. The Buddha would lean his body over that other living being to protect him. Paul Watson has done that, and Brigitte Bardot and many other people have done that. For the baby seals in Newfoundland, risking their lives, using their body as living shields. That's true mother love. That's true love. That is true love. But then there are people who protect another living being by using a gun, and I fully support that. So I don't know if the Buddha would support that, but I fully support it. You got my support. There was a woman a couple of years ago, it was on the news. A man was breaking into her house, and she was in her house with her children, and she heard the guy, and she saw the guy outside the door trying to break in. She ran as fast as she could to get her gun, and the moment his shoulder entered into the house, she shot him several times, and he walked back out and wobbled back to his car, and she called 911. And she told him that she had to shoot him to protect her children and herself. And they came and they put him in the hospital. And I don't know if he survived that, but I fully support that. Okay, that's violence. That is a completely different thing. That is the bear mother instinct. That's a violence that I don't consider violence in that sense. The guy breaking in her house is violent. She's protecting her children, her animals and her children and herself. So I support that person 100%. I support every police officer who protects others by shooting any kind of sniper or crazy person with a gun or with a lethal weapon. So I support that. That's protecting other living beings. And I greatly differ from other people, and I don't care. The Stockholm Syndrome people will disagree with me. The religious people will disagree with me. I don't care. That doesn't interest me. Their neurosis doesn't interest me. Okay? I'm saying the truth. I'm saying the truth as I deeply feel it all the way to the bone of my existence. I'm not playing any games. I'm not saying something just because this has been drilled into me, or this is expected from me, or this is expected currently from society. I'm saying the way I feel it. Okay, you have the right to defend yourself and your loved ones and your family. Modern art is peaceful and loving and compassionate and completely free from any violence whatsoever. Modern art is the infinite cosmos, is going with the flow. Modern art is not appealing to someone or playing something, some kind of I am weird game. Now I'm weird, now I'm an artist, or something like this. No, that's not what modern art is. Modern art is when your inner child comes out. The inner child is not interested in some kind of public appeal or in some kind of I'm badass or I'm weird or I'm the artist person or whatever, or I fit into this or that society. One society will have their total rules, and they will actually think that they are free thinkers just because they are different from that other society. We are the revolutionaries. We are dressed in black. It makes us free thinkers, but then you look behind the scenes and there is the same exact dogmatization going on, and the same peer pressure, and the same public appealing, and the same needing, love me, look at me, accept me, whatever. The same stuff is going on. The same thing, just as a different color or shape. It's the same thing. That's what people don't realize. I'm trying to get people to understand this. The inner child doesn't fit in anywhere. The inner child is like a flower, like a tree, like a dog, like a pig, like a cow. They are doing what is necessary. That's what Jonathan Mese is talking about all the time. They do the necessary things, okay? They exist, they go with the flow. They flow, they have to eat, drink, sleep, they have to obey their bodies. That is going with the flow. And they are art, okay? Me doing artwork like this here is going with the flow. It is not religious, it's not dogmatized, it's not appealing to anyone. I feel the need to do this. Okay? That is going with the flow, and that's art. I can do this here and then say this is art. Okay. Hello. I'm a shark. I just did this without even thinking. Now a shark baby came out of this. Hello. I am a shark baby. I just came out of the flow of modern art. Yes, that's how it works. Yes. 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 Yeah. So, yes, I can stretch myself. I'll show you. I like to stretch myself. Stretch it, stretch it, stretch it, stretch it. Oh, yes. Oh, and then I can contract again. It's like a worm. Yeah, and that is modern art. You do the necessary things. It's something that is much deeper than any kind of shallow business, any kind of social normation, what people have learned or recorded or accumulated from other people. This has nothing to do with it. This is the now moment, this is art, this is flow. That has nothing to do with violence also. If you see art that is violent, that does violent things, it's not art. This is the fact. Art is never violent. Art is love and kindness, also towards your own bodies. People sometimes they can test things, like there's a lot of monks also, they test their limits and so on, and they feel the urge to do this. But when there is violence involved, to me personally, that is not art. It's not art when someone hurts others or themselves even. To me, that's not art. No. That's something else. It's like when they do this for sadomaso, that's mental illness. When they do this to test their limits, that is Zen. That's it's yoga. Okay. It's not art. Being a fakir who sits on metal spikes, that's not art. Hurting yourself, sitting for 8 hours on a chair and being in excruciating pain, that's, to me, so, I'm sorry, with all due respect, to me personally, to me, this is not art. Your gown, your beauty, you sit there, yes, that is the way you sit there, the image, you're looking at the people, that's art. Not the self-flagellation part, not the excruciating pain sitting on that hard chair for 8 hours. That is pain, and that's violence towards yourself. That's not art. This is my personal view on it. Okay, I have the right to voice my view on this, and that's okay, and we don't have to agree. We don't have to agree on everything. But just, I had to make this video because very important, there are people out there who will misunderstand those performance artists, and then they'll go, yay, let me, and I don't even want to say it. I don't even want to say it. I don't even want to talk about it. It's so awful what some people sell as art. It's so horrific. Violence against innocent beings sold as art. People will see this and they go, yeah, they will totally misunderstand all of this. Sorting rice grains out, yes, that's art from my personal view, okay, because it doesn't contain violence, and it's a meditation, and art is a meditation, okay, because meditation is the now moment. And also, if it's a yoga exercise that requires your focus on mindfulness, yes, that's still art. But not hurting your body, not hurting someone else's body. That's not art. Art is love and compassion and kindness. Art is flow, is infinite abundance. Art is luxury. That's a meaning of life also. The meaning of life is luxury. And that is art. Yeah. Feeling good. Feeling ecstatic. Joyful. It's a joyful pleasure. a joyful flowing with the elements, with the now. Not self-hurting, not putting yourself into an extreme mental state. The now moment of being completely in the flow and completely relaxed and not caring what other people think. That's the meaning of life. And I hope I conveyed this to people. So you guys take care. Bye-bye.